They came off the streets in large numbers. About 100 people, mostly young and unemployed, who took the opportunity to have their say. The meeting at Fellowship House in King Street was organised by the Newcastle International Youth Committee to highlight the unemployment issue. Questions asked were, how does it feel to be unemployed? What is good or bad about being unemployed? How can we improve the situation? And what can other groups do to help? The debate produced a long list of practical suggestions, and the groups will meet again to produce a report with which to lobby government and the private sector. It's intended that the meetings will become a regular event, a support group to help relieve the problems of unemployment, including boredom.
They were sick and tired of being bored. They were sick and tired of just having nothing to do, sitting around and not knowing what to do about it.
Do you think the unemployed are becoming more political?
Well, I think they're becoming, as I said, more bored and sick and tired of just being ignored. I think that's basically it.
We had gone through about 3 or 4 hours of work and setting up things to do in the future, and then all of a sudden, after we had laid down what we were doing and we had been given instructions and things were set in motion, somebody all of a sudden came up and said, fire him.
Were you at all surprised with the speed in which it was done?
I had received no warning at all that that was going to happen. I wasn't entirely surprised because I knew that they were unhappy with the way some of the promotion had been going. And I knew that, and I had that in train, and I was looking to obviate that and make everything happen the way they wanted. But they surprised me with the speed of what they did.
And what now for yourself?
Well, I'm going to stay here. I have come to like Newcastle, even though I've only been here 8 months. I like the hunter, and I will hang around seeing if somebody will come up with something for me. My number is 631742 for a job.
Mr. Noble says he was surprised by his dismissal. He says he knew the executive of the authority was dissatisfied,
and all of a
but
sudden,
he said
after we
moves
had
were afoot to
laid down
rectify
what
that
we were doing
situation.
and we had been
The
given
sacking
instructions
also
and
follows comments made by the Minister for Tourism, Mr. Mike Cleary, about the direction that the authority was taking. But how does he think the authority
What would you like to see
improved?
changed?
Well, no change. I think probably just get on with the job. They've got a difficult task because of the 32 people involved in the thing, but the executive staff have made a decision now that I think they've just got to get cracking and get a bit of marketing done and get the region motivated. We've got a bit of a decline as far as tourism is concerned in the area. The dollars are up, and I just think that they've got to stop looking at some big ideas. You've got the little ones, they're sweet, and get some activity going.
So you think local promotion would be better than, say, servicing the Sydney market?
Well, they haven't done anything in the last 12 months. That's been the problem. And they've just been getting their feet, and I think they've had probably a little bit of internal trouble that's now been sorted out, and hopefully now they can get on with the job.
The ceremony, which was attended by the Minister for Sport, Mr. Mike Cleary, as well as the federal member for the area, Mr. Bob Brown, and the state member, Mr. Merrick Hunter, was primarily to present 6 citizenship awards, but the council also took the opportunity to make a special tribute to Professor Cyril Rennick. Professor Rennick was made a Freeman of the City of Lake Macquarie, the first since the area became a city last year. He was also presented with the Citizenship Award for his service to research. Other citizenship awards were given to cricketer Robert Dutchy Holland, sailboarder Bruce Wiley, bowler Darby Ross, the organiser of the Toronto Trade Fair Mr. Athol Enck, and community worker Mr. Keith Saladin. Mayor of Lake Macquarie, Alderman Jeff Casterfield, says these awards aren't given away lightly, and the men who received them last night are most deserving.
We've got some marvellous people, we really have, in so many different ways. And it is necessary for us to give that recognition, even though they don't ask for it. It's just something we do, I think, need, just out of sheer respect for good people.
The board of the club made the decision to move last night following a request from the Newcastle City Council and notification that the Electricity Commission will require the land in the not-too-distant future. The site of the club was a gully 17 years ago and had to be filled before any building could take place. And although the land is leased from the council, the club had to pay for the fill. So before the club was willing to hand over the land to Elcom, it wanted compensation for the money it had spent. It says an agreement has been reached with the council.
Now, who will pay for this relocation?
At the present time, there's negotiation being made between the Newcastle City Council Electric Commission and ourselves.
So it will be between the three of you to pay the bill?
That is right, yes.
Hunter Valley Theatre Company is off to a strong start with a fast and gutsy production of Us or Them. It's a raw, aggressively funny play that shows the school system as a battleground where, as one of the teachers puts it, it's us or them. But while the teachers are doing battle with students, they're also fighting amongst themselves as tension and disillusionment spill over into the staff room. This is a war that no one's going to win. Well, Alan Beech's production is very much a larger-than-life picture of teaching, but last night's howls of laughter left no doubt that audiences can really identify with both the characters and the situations. Well, none of the actors actually disgraced themselves, but some of them were more successful than others in fleshing out their characters. Dimity Raftos impressed as an idealistic young teacher who's going nowhere fast, while Lee Rice and Antonella Francini had a marvellous scene as they head towards a teacher-student romance. Well, Us or Them doesn't pretend to have any answers. It's a bitter and brutally funny picture of a system that doesn't have a great deal of room either for ideals or individuality.
Each of the 9 people attending the 2-day seminar has what the state government considers a very important. They are equal employment opportunity officers who must devise management plans to ensure fair employment practices in the state's colleges. The plans will be submitted to the government by mid-year. Most government departments now have firm management policies for equal opportunity, but in many cases the concept is derived or misunderstood.
Yes, Mark. Some misunderstanding does exist in the community, and we have a job ahead of us to provide good information about what our role is, to assure people that what we're on about is promoting on the basis of merit, ensuring that employment practices, that the provision of leave conditions and so on within colleges of advanced education are all done equitably so that everyone gets a fair go.
See, one of the last areas where you've done it was the Department of Health.
Hard for its head.
Prince
Ahead away,
Gold,
Buena
the
Gold moving
five-year-old
around,
by
then
Gold,
Rosebrook,
drummed from
Luskin's Touch and
Highness,
Rising
is
Prince.
only likely
Real
raced
Dreamers
because
cut
of
a
lead
bit wide, then
troubles,
Nosy
which now
Parker,
seem to be
Vain
a thing
Fury
of the
been
past.
there, is getting back
Prince
to
Gold
about
has proved
third
to be a
last, and
great
they're followed
money
then
winner,
by
having accumulated
back in last place Tempestuous, and just in front of that was
from
Patira running
16
up the hill
starts
now,
for 12 wins,
and Pete's
2
Gold in
seconds
front
and
of
a
Rising
third,
Prince, Buena
running
Gold,
just
and then
once
Rosebrook
unplaced.
between runners,
He
then
has won his
Gagnetti on the
last
fence
3
running
starts
home well,
at
Nosy
City
Parker
Track
and Luskin's Touch were
and
next,
broke the track
then Real
record
Dream,
here
Vain
in
Fury
winning the
followed by
Frederick
Bean there,
Clissold
you know,
handicap,
Patira,
covering
and
the 1200
Tempestuous
metres in
last. Pete's Gold kicked away over
1.92,
Buena
and
Gold
that's very
with
quick.
about 2:50 to
With
go.
top jockey
They're
Jim
followed by
Cassidy in the
Gagnetti,
saddle.
third on the
He's a
fence, and
big
then Real
chance
Dream and
tomorrow.
Rising Prince. It'll take a lot of catching. Pete's Gold inside the last 150. Buena Gold is second, Gagnetti third, but Pete's Gold is going to stroll home an easy winner, and Pete's Gold has won it. Gagnetti possibly second ahead of Buena Gold, and then Vain Fury followed by Real Dream, Rising Prince been there.
Consultants go into the season with little change from the team that made it to the divisional playoffs last year. Coach Dave Anthony is confident of another good showing. Only one main change. American Jerry Gennard is replaced by another United States player, Scott Horrell, who has the added experience of having played in Sweden. For Sydney City it's quite different, with only Kurt Forrester and Claude Williams remaining. The team is now privately owned and no expense has been spared to make it competitive. Four Americans join the team. Wayne Burden from Frankston, Tracy Ballard from the South Eastern League, Tony Wilkerson from Adelaide, and the most interesting signing of all in Tiny Timber, who has played with the renowned Harlem Globetrotters. An American coach, Paul Costa, has also been signed. Tomorrow night's clash at Broadmeadow should answer a few questions for both teams.
Because the season that started...
Later the season will slowly come to life as a small fire keeps giving its bell through the blazing inferno. It's number 3 blast furnace, set to be thrown in following a reline and modifications to increase its capacity, costing $26.8 million. Number 3 rejoins number 4 as the operation's 2 remaining blast furnaces. Number 2 having been shut down 2 days ago, and number 1 having been taken out in June. It's not obvious what's going on inside number 3, but later this evening, when the columns of railway sweepers representing the kindling have begun the coast fire, the giant will, as BHP's Alan Thomas explains, be ready to serve its mark.
Yes, it represents a great deal to us. It gives us a furnace with very modern technology and a much better capability of competing in today's market.
Seeing it is so modern, has it meant extra additional modern facilities being installed?
Yes, the computer control system on the blast furnace is the latest technology available. The hydraulic equipment which controls on the cast house floor and operates many of the valves around the furnace is extremely modern. The cooling system in this blast furnace is the most modern in any furnace in BHP and comparable, if not better, than any in the world.
And what's it going to mean to the actual output at BHP?
The output of the blast furnace increases from the old number 3 furnace used to produce about 1,300 tonnes of iron a day. This new furnace we expect will produce at least 1,850 tonnes a day.
So that's certainly positive, and the men today are working around the clock to make sure that everything is in readiness.
Yes, for almost a month now we've been working, commissioning, dry running equipment in order to make sure that everything goes as planned.
About 400 exhibits helped attract the large number of people who attended the trade fair at Rathmines Park, ensuring that it was an outstanding success. Highlights today included the judging of the winning displays. Although Lake Macquarie City Council was overall winner, the most original and best trade exhibits were only 2 of 20 other categories recognised by the judges, while other displays were also highly commended. The winner of a P&O Cruise tour offered by the Newcastle Star is also drawn today. A large crowd surrounded the competition area, but there could only be one winner, who was Craig Thorley of Bulwarra Heights. An inevitable side effect of the high attendance figures was traffic congestion. Although several traffic jams caused delays, thanks to police and state emergency service workers, it kept flowing as smoothly as possible. About 400 sites at Rathmines Park were occupied on the weekend, attracting a record number of people to the trade fair. Exhibits included computer software, furniture, sporting equipment, and even something for the avid gardener. Larger exhibits included cars and tools, while the location of the fair made boating displays a must. Highlights yesterday included the judging of the displays. Although Lake Macquarie City Council was the overall winner, the most original and best trade exhibits were only 2 of 20 other categories recognised by the judges. The winner of the P&O Cruise for two offered by the Newcastle Star was also drawn yesterday, and NBN's Big Dog was there to lend a helping hand. A large crowd surrounded the competition area, but there could be only one winner. He was Strait of Bulwara Heights. The competition, the exhibits and the large number of people who visited the trade fair ensured the event was an outstanding success. Late yesterday, organisers estimated between 50 and 55,000 people attended.
Is Craig Thornley here?
Although State Premier Neville Wran recommended Singleton as first choice of site for a new combined school of infantry and artillery last week, the federal government has said a final decision will not be made for about 1 month. Protest groups are using this time to galvanise forces, and yesterday one of the most vocal organisations opposed to expansion of the existing Singleton Army base met to voice their concerns. The Wollombi Valley Association has formed a no-base expansion group. They say the state government's proposed boundaries for the expansion, which involves large tracts of Crown land to the north and west of Wollombi, including conditional use of Pecolbin State Forest, will sound a death knell for the town.
The residents of this valley don't want to see the Singleton Army base go. We believe it should be there, as it's always been there for 40 years. What we don't want is to start driving people mad in this valley by the extension of that 13,500 hectares to 70,000 hectares. We believe the area is inviolate. It's part of our history and our heritage, and there is absolutely no reason, as far as we're concerned, that this area should be even remotely considered to be trampled on.
The meeting resolved to reject the state government's recommendation for the expansion of Singleton Army base. A call was also made for local, state and federal members to represent the wishes of Wollombi residents by also opposing expansion. The accident occurred about 1:45 yesterday evening. East Maitland police said it appeared the driver of the vehicle lost control, negotiating a bend on Torres Street. Police say he then continued for a distance of about 90 metres. It appeared the vehicle rolled sideways several times. The man was thrown from the car. Police directed traffic while waiting for the Newcastle Scientific Squad to investigate the cause of the accident.
Arrived in Newcastle this morning, the latest stop in a journey that began in Perth at the beginning of the year and should take him around the country
many times and raising money for them. I've raised $500,000 now and I want to keep going till I raise $1 million.
His life has been coloured by the physical abuse he suffered as a child, and at shopping centres around the country, Chris is stopping to raise money, helping victims of child abuse and homelessness. That's why his bike carries a tent to sleep in and a tin box to hold the money. Even though this is his fifth trip around the country, Chris says he will keep on riding.
So I feel that I'm helping the children that have been abused by riding this many times and raising money for them. I've raised $500,000 now and I want to keep going till I raise $1 million.
So how many more trips around the country before you'll have raised the $1 million?
Well, hopefully not too many. Hopefully that I'll raise it within the next 2 trips, but if not, I'll just keep going.
When you've finished your rides around the country, when you've raised your $1 million, what's life going to hold for Chris? What are you going to do?
Well, I don't know. I'm on a pension now, so I don't know what it'll hold. I think I'll just grow veggies in the backyard or something and slowly ferment in the corner.
Chris will be at the Market Town Shopping Centre from Wednesday until Friday, showing us the way on child abuse and accepting donations.
No,